My name is Kyo Koo, and I'm the chef partner of Danwei Canting in Portland, Oregon. Our concept is Beijing-style Chinese food, done with a Northwest twist. My mom cooked a lot, and so we had dinner as a family pretty much every day together. Mom, dad, myself, and my sister. So it was always the time for family to kind of gather. Everybody touched base, got caught up on the day, and it was always a big influence for me to, sitting down for mealtime was very happy time for everyone involved. I grew up here in Portland until high school, and then went to high school up in Seattle. And then from there I moved to Hawaii for a couple years to go to college, and basically I was double majoring in computer science and English lit. So Hawaii was great, but I just decided after 2 years that I couldn't stand living on a small island anymore. So I actually transferred all my credits to the University of Washington, went back, I had a quarter to kill, and so I decided to sign up for an anthropology class. I ran into a buddy of mine who said that if you're looking for something interesting, they have a culinary school here, because I know that you love to cook. And he remembered that from us being in high school, you know what I mean? And I was like, what do you mean? I didn't even know that was a thing, like a cooking school. And so I went to go check it out, kind of tour the facilities, and I was like, oh, this will be fun for a few months. So I went back, dropped my anthropology class, signed up for the culinary program the first quarter, and that first day I walked into class, got the textbook, and I opened it up, and I was like, holy shit, this is what I'm going to do for a living. It's basically, I haven't looked back from there. I'd read about a chef named Andoni Adruiz in the Basque Country, and at a restaurant called Mugaritz. And so I basically saved money for about a year, and without even applying for a job, just moved to San Sebastian. I showed up on the front doorstep with a resume, and they weren't hiring. And they had no room for stages. And so I was like, well, I got about a month left on my visa, so if something opens up, can you call me, in my terrible Spanish at that time. And but I went back, I kind of did the, whatever you want to call it, the tenacious method, where I literally went back every day for a week, and I dropped off the same resume. I was like, is there anything? And by the end of it, the chef was just kind of laughing. He's like, we still don't have anything. But so after the last resume I dropped off, about 2 weeks later, I get a phone call, and it is the director of the stage program, and she told me that they had somebody drop out, and if I was still interested. And I was like, I'll see you in 12 hours. And so I packed up all my shit from my apartment in San Sebastian, and because they have apartments at the restaurant and near the restaurant for all the cooks to stay close to it, and basically moved, and spent a year thereafter. I met Kyle, who is my business partner here, and Kyle's actually the main inspiration for the style of food that we do, because he lived in Beijing for 13 years and just fell in love with China in general, but especially Beijing. And he'd always dreamed of bringing the food that he loved to eat and bringing it back to his to the city where his family lived. And so we met up and had some conversations, and we just kind of really vibed. He's a tech guy, but he's also very I don't know, I guess you could say almost has that artistic mind frame, where he's always thinking of a million things at a time. And so that's how Danwei was born. We literally came to this corner and it was a patch of dirt. That's how early we got in on the project. Everything that we saw for this space, it was just artist renderings, on big sheets of paper. And to see this place being built from the ground up, picking everything from the chairs to the chopsticks to the hood system, to the woks. It was definitely a process. It took well over a year to just get all the, bases on paper. But yeah, and then we opened in 2016, January, and that's how we ended up here. For me, the reason why I love what I do is that there's always that drive to learn more, and always knowing too that no matter how hard you work and how much you learn, like you're never going to reach the end of the road. You know, there's always something new. There's always somebody faster. There's always somebody better, you know, and not necessarily in a competitive mindset, but just like somebody that you could learn from, you know what I mean? Whether it be another chef or a line cook or, you know, even a dishwasher. Like, you know, they might come in and you're like, wow, I've never seen somebody wash dishes like that before. I learned something today, you know, which happens. You know, it's like everybody in this industry, I feel like, has something to teach, whether they realize it or not. And for me, you know, that's a really important aspect of it. My wife is a chef. We have a 5-year-old, and yeah, it's not easy. I mean, it's definitely hard sometimes. You know, there are some weeks where I'll see Kate, you know, a few times, and that's in passing, you know, for like an hour at night. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I think for the stage in our life right now, where we've, you know, developed, somehow we make it work. The kid gets to school on time, he gets picked up, he's well fed, you know what I mean? The house is usually maintained fairly well. But yeah, it's not something that I really plan out too much, I don't think, that work-life balance. It just, for me, I kind of deal with it as it goes, as it comes. I would say that if you find a passion, commit to it. I think that's the big thing, is because I feel like now there are so many choices in what you can do and, you know, what you can pursue. I think that is one thing that, you know, people these days have a really hard time doing, is they want to do X, they want to do Y, they want to do Z, but they don't want to commit 110% to everything. They want to go in 60% on X, you know, 40% on Y. But I feel like if you really take, and who knows, you start that one project and you're passionate about it, but you find out that you're not into it, then you just, you know, you move on and you find another thing. But committing that 110%, I feel like, is the first step in really being successful with something. Because as much as you want to try different things, if you want to be really good at something, it takes very singular focus, I feel like, to, you know, be able to become the best of the best at it. And for me, I don't like being the medium guy in something. Like, I always want to be, you know, especially in the restaurant industry, like the best of the best. And so just from that perspective, I think, you know, just committing to it for me is the main advice that I would give. I think my personal definition of that would be being able to go into work and really be able to give support to a good group of people that I work with. And this is obviously the professional side. And really just, you know, give people the energy to be able to work in this industry and have fun doing it, you know what I mean? And make it sustainable. And there's so many politics and like all kinds of just like factors in the restaurant business that could work against you in that respect. And by no means have I figured it out, and I'm not even close, but I'm definitely trying to get to the point in my life where I can honestly say, you know, wherever I'm at, like these cooks, these servers, you know, like these porters are happy to show up to work. They want to come to work, and that, you know, the restaurant as a whole organism is able to take care of them in the way that they deserve, you know. And I think that that's one hard thing too in the restaurant business, is because our margins are so slim that balancing that with just staying in business is a very difficult thing. And so I think, you know, whether it's fast casual or fine dining, I think professional success for me, that would be an amazing thing to be able to, you know, be able to offer. And that journey is still happening now. You know, I figure out or don't figure out stuff on a daily basis. But I feel like every day I move just a little bit closer to getting to that goal.